to protect ourselves and our family from dangerous radioactive fallout.
The alarms are deafening, and the world around you feels like it's collapsing. A nuclear missile is headed toward your city, and you have only minutes to act. The initial blast will wipe out everything for miles, but if you survive that, the real fight for your life begins. Would you know what to grab, where to go, or how to stay alive in the chaos? What's in your emergency kit?
The middle floors in a commercial building with multiple floors are better, and then the interior rooms on those floors is better. So
the moment a nuclear explosion occurs, survival is all about quick thinking and protecting your body from immediate dangers. The blast itself is devastating, but if you're outside the instant kill zone, your fight for survival begins in those crucial first seconds. Falling debris, a searing flash of light, and radioactive dust in the air are your biggest threats, and every second counts. Your head is especially vulnerable. The shockwave that follows the explosion can cause buildings to collapse, sending debris flying in all directions. A bike helmet or a motorcycle helmet can make the difference between staying conscious and being knocked out, because losing consciousness in this situation could be fatal. If you don't have a helmet, thick clothing wrapped around your head can provide some level of protection. Then there's the light. The explosion will produce an intense flash, powerful enough to blind you if you're too close or even looking in its direction. Sunglasses with UV protection can shield your eyes and reduce the risk of temporary blindness, which could leave you vulnerable during these critical moments.
Within 7 hours, the radiation actually is decreased to roughly 10% of what it was initially.
After surviving the initial blast of a nuclear explosion, your next battle is against radiation. Radioactive fallout, the invisible, deadly particles released into the air, begins to settle quickly. These particles can poison your body and your environment, making shielding yourself an absolute priority.
A lot of physical destruction, breaking windows, knocking down buildings, and that, again, out to the 10-15 mile range. And
use duct tape and plastic sheeting to seal every crack and opening in your home, including windows, doors, and vents. This reduces the chances of radioactive dust entering your space. Rubber gloves are another essential item. You'll need to touch things, but direct contact with radioactive material can lead to contamination. Wearing gloves prevents this and saves precious water, since you won't need to constantly wash your hands. Regular cleaning gloves work fine and are easy to find. When a nuclear event occurs, one of the first things to disappear is modern communication. The internet, cell towers, and electricity grids might go down instantly, cutting you off from the outside world. In those moments, information becomes as crucial as food or water. Without it, you won't know whether it's safe to stay put or when it's time to move. This is where a battery-powered radio becomes your lifeline. It might seem old-fashioned, but radio signals are far more resilient than internet or phone networks. Governments and emergency services often rely on radio broadcasts to share critical updates, such as evacuation routes, safety zones, and timelines for radioactive fallout. Make sure your radio is easy to use and has enough batteries to last for days, or better yet, get one with a hand crank or solar charging option. Keep it tuned to local emergency frequencies and write down any instructions you hear so you can follow them carefully. Staying connected during a blackout is about more than just hearing the news. It's about knowing how to act. In an unpredictable situation, information is your greatest weapon.
In a nuclear event, we may face a situation where we're going to have to be sequestered in a relatively small space for roughly...
In the aftermath of a nuclear event, access to clean food and water become a matter of survival. Radiation contaminates outdoor water sources almost instantly, and supply chains for food grind to a halt. If you want to stay alive in those first critical hours and days, you'll need to rely on what you've already prepared.
Sanitation supplies and some bedding and such in order to make ourselves livable, I guess.
Non-perishable food is your best bet. Canned goods like beans, tuna, or soup are easy to store and packed with nutrients. The key is to focus on items that don't require cooking, since electricity and gas will likely be unavailable. anything you can eat straight out of the package is ideal. Pack enough to last at least 48 hours, and if possible, plan for a bit more. Emergencies are unpredictable. Water is even more critical. Your body can survive without food for days, but not water. Stockpile bottled water, aiming for at least 1 gallon per person per day. Keep your water supply sealed and separate from any areas exposed to fallout. With clean water and the right food, you can buy yourself enough time to figure out your next steps in the chaos. Duct tape might not seem like a life-saving tool at first glance, but when everything falls apart, it can become one of the most valuable items in your emergency kit. This simple roll of tape has countless uses that can help you survive in a crisis. One of its most important functions is sealing your home. After a nuclear blast, radioactive fallout can seep into even the smallest cracks and openings. Using duct tape with plastic sheeting, you can block off windows, doors, vents, and any other gaps to keep harmful particles out. It's a straightforward but effective way to create a safer space for yourself and your family. But duct tape isn't just for sealing. If you're dealing with ripped clothing or damaged shelter materials, it works as a quick and durable repair tool. It can also be fashioned into protective gloves if you don't have rubber ones, shielding your hands from contact with contaminated surfaces. Even in medical emergencies, duct tape can step in. It can act as a makeshift bandage or secure a splint if someone is injured. Its versatility is unmatched, and in a situation where resources are limited, this one tool can solve a surprising number of problems. Keeping a roll of duct tape in your emergency kit isn't just smart, it's essential.
Is knowing what to do, in any disaster situation, just knowing what to do. And if you know what to do, then there's much less need for panic. And if you panic and...
Surviving in a war zone isn't just about what's in your emergency kit, it's about your mindset. The truth is, no kit can prepare you for everything. War is unpredictable, and new threats can emerge without warning. Tanks, chemical weapons, or even collapsing buildings could become a part of your reality. The key to survival is being ready to adapt.
Just know that you can figure out a way to get some distance and shielding for your own personal situation.
Staying calm is your first line of defense. Panic clouds your judgment and wastes precious time. When chaos erupts, take a moment to breathe and assess your surroundings. Knowing what's happening and thinking clearly can help you make better decisions. Strategy is just as important. Your emergency kit should cover the basics: food, water, protection, but it's how you use those items that really matters. If your water supply is limited, ration it. If you're moving, pack only what you can carry. Finally, be ready to adapt. The world during a war doesn't follow a script. Roads might be blocked, supplies could run out, and safe zones might shift. Flexibility is your greatest asset. Combine your tools with a clear head and the willingness to adjust, and you'll give yourself the best chance to face the unknown. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.